Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another meta guide. So we have all three leagues returning. We have the Open Great League, the Open Ultra League, and the Open Master League. So you can choose whichever one is your favorite. I like the Great League, I like the Ultra League. Actually, I like all three. It's just like the Master League is kind of inaccessible to a lot of trainers, somewhat myself included. I mean, I do have some Pokemon built, but I don't have the Palkia Origin. I need a better one. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're talking about the Open Great League here. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. So number one, or well, highly ranked I should say, gonna be that Cresselia, of course. Cresselia is ultra bulky. Now, there's multiple movesets you can go with, right? You definitely want the Grass Knot, but do you go with the Moonblast or Future Sight? If you go with the Moonblast, those fire types are going to resist every single attack you have, but if you go with the Future Sight, that does give you coverage. I personally like the Moonblast in the Great League because I feel like there's less fire types. You still have the Talonflame, you still have the Skeledirge, but they're not really super common like they are. They're more so common in the Ultra League, in my opinion. So I kind of like the Grass Knot Moonblast. But it really depends on your team as well. Next up, we have a bulky Steel-type Registeel. Always has been good since the preseason of Go Battle League. That's how good it was. Yes, it was nerfed in the past, but, you know, that nerf was kind of changed again, and then it got Zap Counter. You get the drill. You get the point. Registeel is just so strong. Then we have Lickitung. Lickitung has always been great. Kind of has to watch out for the Vigoroth nowadays, right, for sure. But, you know, Vigoroth, is it that common in the Open Great League? Yeah, you definitely do see it, but I feel like there's a lot of other stronger fighting types like the Poliwrath and the Annihilate. But Vigoroth is still a great Pokemon. But still, Lickitung, obviously a great safe swap. Really, really powerful, and we do see it a lot. Then we have Gligar, a Shadow Gligar. I personally like the Shadow one because it has better play against like Azumel or Pokemon that you would expect that would really beat it. It's just doing that much more damage. And then we have Shadow Feraligatr or the regular Feraligatr. I do prefer the Shadow one. If you have it, that's awesome. Totodile wasn't the last Rocket rotation, so hopefully you got a good one, and you could use the Shadow version. Even if you didn't get a good one, I think Shadow Feraligatr is just dominant. I love it as a safe swap. The Hydro Cannons come out so fast. Shadow Claw, this update really helped it. Definitely on top for sure. Then we have Skarm. Of course, Air Slash was nerfed a couple seasons ago. Whenever it was nerfed, 2 seasons ago maybe. That really destroyed Skarmory for good, but then last season it got Steel Wing, so it helped it out a lot. It's not only good now in the Go Battle League, but also in the Play Pokemon circuit, whereas before it got Steel Wing, or not, well, it always had Steel Wing, but before Steel Wing was buffed, you never saw it in the Play Pokemon circuit, very rarely, if at all. But now it's a common pick. That's how good it is, Steel Wing with that buff. Lantern, they tried nerfing Lantern a few seasons ago, but it's still just as good as ever, if not better. Wishcash, of course, ever since it got that Scald update last season, super powerful. Wishcash is the best, in my opinion, the best Mud Boy. Definitely better than Swampert, in my opinion. That Scald debuff, the 50% chance. I feel like they should nerf that, but they haven't yet. And then we have Annihilate. Of course, Annihilate came out last season. It's so strong with the counter and Shadow Ball. It also has Close Combat, Night Slash, Ice Punch. Which moveset do you go with? I think the most common moveset is the Night Slash Shadow Ball, but I've seen it with Close Combat. Of course, I've seen it with Ice Punch as well. But just a great Pokemon all around. Moving on to the rank, we do have another Mud Boy. We do have Swampert and Quagsire, so both Mud Boys. Again, if we're talking the Open Great League, I think Wishcash definitely holds the title of the best Mud Boy, in my opinion. But Shadow Swampert, of course, is still powerful. It still hits like a truck with the Hydro Cannons. And Quagsire, of course, or the Shadow Quagsire, also really spammy with the Community Day Aqua Tail if you go that route. Cubbank is another good Pokemon. It does have a lot of answers to it now, you know. There's so many Pokemon that just do super effective damage, like the Gligar with the Dig, although you could still hold your own against Gligar, but Feraligatr, super effective damage. Skarmory with the double super effective Steel Wings, Wishcash, so it does have its work cut out for it. It's not as good, but it still has some play for sure. You basically need alignment, just like Bashiodon, right? Mantine did receive Water Pulse. You still see it with Ice Beam a lot. It could go either way, Ice Beam or Water Pulse. Really depends on the team and the meta you're playing in. Mandibuzz is super thick, super strong. Yeah, really good. I think Mandibuzz could be a pretty good safe swap. You generally don't want it to go against the Charmander, but if there's no Charmander, I think Mandibuzz is really strong because it could just take hits. Kind of talked about Bashiodon a little bit, kind of like Cubbank. It needs to have good alignment to work. Of course, we've seen this team with like the Shadow Victreebel. I know everyone's favorite team, but if you get the alignment, Bashiodon can definitely work. We talked about Quagsire. Again, strong Mud Boy, but not as strong as Whiscash. Azumel did get the boost to Bubble recently, so it does a little bit more damage. And I mean, it's just such a bulky Pokemon. It gets to the moves fast. Yeah, it's really good. I see it quite often. Charjabug, one of the best electric types. Lantern, I think, wins a little bit, but Charjabug is just so good as well. Yeah, I mean, just that Volt Switch Community Day move really helped it out a lot. Moving on to the B rank, we do have Guzzlord. So Guzzlord, another strong Pokemon, a really strong Dragon type. I love Guzzlord, to be honest. I've loved using it in the Great League. I've loved using it in the Ultra League. Just think it's really good. It has a great stat product. And overall, just a really, really strong Dragon type Pokemon. Galarian Stunfisk, this Pokemon actually was nerfed. Maybe I even put it a little bit too high in the ranks, right? But it was nerfed. The Rock Slide was nerfed. The Earthquake was nerfed. So keep that in mind. Still not a bad Pokemon, but definitely nerfed. We have a couple Pokemon that will a few Pokemon that were boosted this season. So the Steel Wing was given to Empoleon, which has helped it, and we do see Empoleon quite often. Pretty good Pokemon. Gets to the Hydro Cannons really fast. The Drill Peck, if you go in for super effective damage against, gives you coverage against like grass types, right? And then Cycle Cut and Gallade, it takes 4 Cycle Cuts to get to a Leaf Blade. You know how fast that is? It's crazy. And then 5 to get to close combat, I think. Or is it 3 and... No, I think it is 4 and 5, right? Anyway, Gallade, super, super fast. It is frail, so it really can't take hits, but especially in the Great League, but it is a really strong Pokemon. Then we have Goodra. Goodra, of course, received well, it had Aqua Tail, but the Aqua Tail got buffed this season, which is crazy. So it does a little bit more damage, and that definitely shows whether you're using Goodra or something like a Palkia Origin in the Open Master League. But Goodra really strong with the Dragon Breath, Power Whip, Aqua Tail. Then we have the Poliwrath. Of course, Poliwrath with the moveset update last season, the Scald, the Icy One, absolutely insane. The Community Day counter, absolutely insane Pokemon, really strong. Annihilate does give it a run for its money because Annihilate does double resist the counter damage, but still, Poliwrath is still a really strong pick. And then we have the Dragonite or the Shadow version. I like the Shadow version more just because of the Shadow Dragon Breath damage. But let's move on to the other options. We do have Vigoroth. So Vigoroth is a Pokemon that's always been good for specific limited metas, even before it got Rock Slide. But now that it got Rock Slide, now it competes in the Open Great League as well. So, and it's just doing really well. Really great save swap. Body Slam's coming out fast, especially if you can get ahead on energy. Just overall, I mean, it doesn't... Annihilate walls it, right? It doesn't want to see that. Other counter uses, I guess, like Poliwrath, but even against Poliwrath, the Body Slams is still coming out fast, but it still doesn't want to see a Poliwrath. But overall, just a great Pokemon. And then we have Pelipper. So Pelipper, another one. Mantine, I think, shines a little bit above Pelipper now, just because of the bulk Mantine has. But both of them obviously have to watch out for electric Pokemon like Lantern and Charjabug. Then we have Skeledirge. I did mention that Skeledirge or fire types in general are not as common in the Great League compared to the Ultra League. But Skeledirge is still an option, and you definitely do still see it. Clodsire is really, really tanky. Clodsire is a Pokemon I feel like benefits from limited metas, like the meta we had that just ended or is ending, the Jungle Cup, right? But still, I mean, Clodsire is a really bulky Pokemon, and you do see it from time to time. Zweilous, not as good as some other dragons we have, like the Guzzlord and the Goodra, I feel like, but still not a bad pick. Abomasnow, okay, Abomasnow did receive Icy Wind not too long ago, so, the way I look at Abomasnow is if I have the non-Shadow, I do like the Icy Wind because it's easier to get to, but if you have the Shadow one, you're doing more damage, just go with the Weather Balls because you do get to him faster. Wigglytuff did receive Icy Wind, and the Charm damage, in my opinion, it's probably the best Charm user. It does double resist the Licks from Lickitung as well, so that helps it out. So if you're going with the Charm user, I think Wigglytuff is a good way to go. Toxapex, really strong Poison type. And then we have Venusaur, a Grass type. If you go in Grass route, this could be a strong Grass type to go with. Gliscor, not as good as Gligar, but Gliscor is another option. Giratina Origin. Giratina Origin you do have to trade for from the timed research, so it is pretty cool, and I've actually used it last season as well when I got it, so it's pretty cool to use. Definitely a lot of fun, and it is a good Pokemon as well. And then we have Defense Deoxys. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the solid team options. So, for the first team, we do have Guzzlord in the lead with Double Water. So, Double Water, yeah, I mean, for Alligator is a great save swap, right? no doubt about it. And of course the Mantine in the back. So, you know, if you want, you could go with another water type instead of Mantine, but I think that's a really strong pick. And I use this early in the season myself. For Alligator, it's a great safe swap. You could use another Dragon again if you want Dragonair or if you want Gudra, but I put Guzzlord there. And then we have another team, Skarmory, Whiscash, Gligar. So ABA flying, but still, I mean, they don't really share weaknesses, right? Because Gligar is not weak to electric, Skarmory is. So Skarmory is not weak to ice, Gligar is, right? So really powerful team I've used. And then we have another team, Cresselia, Annihilate, Registeel. So I think Registeel is a really good safe swap because Registeel can even work on doing well against things that beat it, right? I mean, the backline doesn't really like Gligar for the most part. Cresselia can hold its own against Gligar. But if you're running Ice Punch on Annihilate, and that's if you are running it, that is super effective towards the Gligar. And if you're not running it, at least bait it. Then we have another team for Alligator in the lead with Lickitung as a safe swap, and then Charjabug. Lickitung always a great safe swap. Another team, this is a common team, I would say, Shadow Dragonair with the Whiscash and Skarmory. I've seen this team with all three of these being in the lead. I've seen the Skarmory in the lead, I've seen the Whiscash in the lead. I like Dragonair in the lead, but... and then we have another team, we have Double Dragon in the back with Lantern in the lead. So I think that's another really strong team. But with that being said, let me know which team you plan on running in the Open Great League, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.